Hey y'all, Sabrina here. I hope that you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. I am very excited about today's video because I'm going to be showing you how I am simply organizing our BookShark curriculum for the year and setting us up for the days and weeks. So a big thank you to BookShark for sponsoring today's video. Hey, I'm Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel, The Simple Happy Life, where I share about our homeschool, home organization, and what we're up to. I shared in my curriculum choices video that we're going to be using BookShark for the first time this year, and I'm using the all-in-one package level D, Intro to American History, Year 1 of 2. And because BookShark has levels and suggested age ranges within those levels, for level D, it's ages 8 to 11, I'm able to do this with both of my boys, who are 8 and 10, going into the 3rd and 5th grades, and I can easily make adjustments to meet their skill levels when needed. So I purchased this curriculum with my own money. I've read through and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far, so I'm happy to be working with BookShark in today's video to show you how you can easily organize an all-in-one package, because you can see it's a lot. In addition to your instructor's guides and manuals, you get all the readers and books and manipulatives, and I can't even fit it all on the table. So I did, and I highly suggest you do, start this organization process by setting up your instructor's guides in your binder. Now, if you're using the all-in-one package, this is going to be your history, your science, and your language arts instructor guides. And there's so much helpful information in here to support you along the year and to help you get going and get organized. So you've unpacked everything, you've put your binder together, and you've set and read through it. Definitely do that. It makes things so much clearer. Check out section 4 of your instructor guides, because they talk a lot about getting organized with scheduling your year and record keeping and just lots of tips. And one of the biggest tips that I got from reading through this, and kind of like a light bulb went off for me, was to remove 3 to 4 weeks of your instructor guide materials from the large binder and insert it into a smaller working binder, which I was like, yeah, because this is a big binder, and this is a lot of stuff. So that helped me to think about breaking up my organization of my things into things that I'm going to need for the year, like this binder, and things that I'm going to need for our 3-week period. Since we school 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, I'm going to pull out 3 weeks of lessons from this binder, and I put them into smaller working notebooks. So this is my instructor guide for 3 weeks. So I just pulled out weeks 1 through 3, and I'm going to put my boys' work weeks 1 through 3. And I actually might keep going with this in these flexi binders. So I have a tab already created for their history, their language arts, and their science. Their math is done in their workbooks that come with their math program, Right Start Math. So that was like, whew, okay. So this is for the year. This is for the 3 weeks. So I'm going to organize the books and my manuals and things in that way too. The things that I will need throughout the year, I'm going to store on the shelf. I can get to it easily if I need to, but it's not something I need to reach for every day. And then the things that I need to reach for daily and weekly, I'm going to store on my curriculum cart, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But first, let me get all the things that I need to organize for the year into these bins and put them on the shelf. I love that these shelves are so functional. I know that not everybody loves them, but cube shelves are very functional, and I think they're pretty affordable, and many people already have them in their homes. So these larger cubes can store a lot in here. So I'm going to put all of the books in one and show you what that looks like. So I went ahead and added all the books in the bin, and I divided them by a language arts readers, history read alouds, and our history geography books, and then the science books. So how I knew where to put these little cardstock with labels on them to divide up the books is by looking in section 3 of the binder of your instructor guides. So I put 3 weeks in here in my working notebook or binder, and section 3, because section 3 has your book list and scope and sequence. So I thought that would be nice to be able to reference quickly. But I see all of the history and geography books that we're using, all the read alouds, and all of the readers. So I'm using this again with my 3rd and 5th grader. So my 3rd grader, I plan for him to just do the regular readers. And then my 5th grader will also do the advanced readers, which is he'll read the entire list just at a faster pace than my 3rd grader. So my 3rd grader will just be reading this, but I didn't break that up. I just put all the readers together, and then all of the read alouds that were things that I would be reading aloud to them, including these in different categories. So again, language arts readers, history readers, and then I flipped to the science book list, and I just put all of the science books back there. Now, I'm still thinking in my organizing for the year and my 3-week period. So I went ahead and pulled out, by looking at the schedule here, I went ahead and pulled out the books that I would need for the first 3 weeks for history, for language arts, and for science. I already passed it. Yeah. I'm going to get a peek at some of the stuff here. Science. So that would be what books that we are going to be references and things that I would need for the first 3 weeks. So I went ahead and set out those books right here. So this lets me know these are the things I'm going to want to keep separated in order to easily access them daily and weekly. So that's that stack of books. And you see that I still have plenty of room in here. I feel like BookShark leaves a lot of room for you to add in things as you go if you need to, want to. So I can, if there's another reader I want to have us go through this year, I can add that in here. Another history book I think will complement a lesson. I can drop that in here as we go throughout the year. So books that I'm going to need to reference later are organized. Now, what about these big old binder and the kits? Because I may need to access them weekly, but I don't need them daily, and I might not even need them every week. I'm still going to have them easily accessible on the shelf, but I'm going to add them to another bin, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I started adding the binder in boxes to this bin, but I just wanted to share that I did think about taking the things out of this and kind of separating them out into maybe smaller categories. But I feel like this box is very durable. I already know it has the things that I need for their experiments in. So I'm just going to leave it all in here and grab out what I need as we go. Like I said, these boxes are pretty durable and they already have everything we need in them. So I'm just going to leave it as is and drop them in here. Like I said, they're going to be on the shelf so I can grab them easily, but this fits in here really nice, and I'll just slide it on the shelf out when I absolutely need it. So we've organized all the books that we're going to need for language arts, for history, for science, and we put them in this bin. We've organized the kits and the binders in this bin for those subjects. But what about math? So if you've chosen Right Start Math as the math option to go along with your BookShark all-in-one level package, then it comes with a lot of manipulatives if you get that kit. Now, they're going to come in this little baggie, and there's a lot of them. This is just a tiny bit of what you get on the table. But they're going to come in these little plastic bags, and I have found that they eventually tear, and they're just a little annoying to sort through. So let me show you how I have it organized and what's been working for us for quite some time now. So if you guessed I store them in another bin, then you would be correct because it can fit on the shelf neatly with the other ones. Now this bin is just holding our Right Start Math manipulatives because, like I said, there are a lot. So each baggie holds, or each mesh bag holds a different set of manipulatives. Now I had them in these plastic bags, but because they're all in different sizes, they just kept, getting all messed up in here, and then the bags were starting to rip. So these mesh bags are much more durable, and because they're all the same size, I can just kind of file them in here and they don't get all kind of turned around. So I also like the mesh bags because, again, they're durable, but they, you can see through them, and I can hold these big items like the geometric solids, and the tiles that you just saw, all the way to the little tangrams, right? So you can see through them, but because my mom and my husband sometimes help out with school, if they're looking through a lesson and it says to grab the geometric solids, I want them to not have to play the guessing game of what manipulative is what. So that's why the bags are labeled, and it helps me too. And so I can just pop those in here and out as I need them. Also, with Right Start, you may know that there are a lot of games. So you get cards to play the games with. So I've decided to put the manipulatives that I would use during a lesson to teach fractions, like these fraction tiles, along in the same bag with the cards that we would use to play the fraction games. So I did that with our coins too. So here are the money cards for the money games, and the coins that we would use, right? Because if you're doing a lesson on this, you're using the manipulatives, and you're most likely going to play a game. So I did it again with the clock cards and the clock. So that's how I have the majority of the manipulatives organized. Now I do have the big fraction board over here on the side, the whiteboard here. I have like the calculator over there. It also comes with a geometric set. And so I have this really durable envelope that I use to organize quite a few of our different curriculum. And it just says geometry set. I've had this in here for a couple years. And so whenever I need to grab out something, I just come in here and grab it out. And that's been pretty sturdy, like I said, for me to hold all those. And then we have place value cards and our 10 base picture cards. So I'll just show you, it's the same setup for both. This is a coupon holder from the Dollar Tree. And I have it, my little labels are a little off, but it's been like this for a while. So I'm good with that. I just have them labeled ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and they're popped in there like that. And we just take them out for the lesson and pop them back in. And that has worked, again, very well. And so when I need to grab out something, or my family needs to grab out something, we just come here. But again, if I'm thinking in that 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, I'm only going to pull out the things that I need for 3 weeks. And I'm going to do that by looking through my teacher guides. And you'll see that you'll need the abacus, and you'll need the math card game. And so the math card game, it tells you it's A9. So I would look in my card games book, I would find A9 and pull out what I need. And I would just go ahead and do that for the first 12 lessons, because we're doing this 4 times a week. So for 3 weeks, I'll just need the first 12 lessons. So I'm going to do that for both of the guys and go ahead and, like I said, pull out the manipulatives that I need and add it to this stack back here of things that I'm going to need daily and weekly for the next 3 weeks as we start our curriculum. So now my math manipulatives, the books for language arts, history, and science, the binder, and the box kits are all organized and ready for me to grab throughout the year. Over here, I have out all of the things that I'm going to need to reach for over the next 3 weeks. Now, I could put them in another container like this. That would be easy to grab. I could put it, these actually fit in my base kitchen cabinets, and I've done that before, where I just took what I needed for the week and took it downstairs and schooled in the kitchen before we had this space set up. You can put it in the car, school at grandma's. That's a really nice option, just to have it all in one container for the week. What I have found to be working for us lately is my curriculum cart. Now, I've shared this in another video. This system has worked for me, so I'm just going to incorporate my BookShark curriculum right onto the cart. And let me show you how I have it divided up so I can just drop these in. So I'm going to put our science experiment book and science books in there, our timeline and maps in here, our math manuals in here and their worksheets, our handwriting, our spelling and vocabulary, our spelling. We chose to continue with All About Spelling. That's what we were doing, but it's also offered in the pack, all in one package from BookShark. And then I'm going to put our notebooks here. We are actually doing a different vocabulary, but BookShark than what BookShark recommends. But they give you so much flexibility to do that. And there's a lot of vocabulary already in the readings, so I'm not sure that we will even need an extra one. Down here, because there's so much flexibility with this to add in extracurriculars, I do have things for Spanish and finance on our shelf. But with All About Spelling, you need the spelling cards to go with it. So those are going to live here. Math manipulatives and Right Start are going to live here. And then the read alouds and readers are going to live here. And this will be 3 weeks worth of our work already living on the cart and ready for us to go and school at our table. So let me start dropping the books into our magazine files. So here are the science books that we'll be reaching for. Just going to drop them in here. Our timelines and maps. Now this map is going to be a little bit larger. It opens up very big, but it's not going to fit into the file. It's too big, so I'm just going to pop it back there because there's a little space. And then I'm going to add in our math manuals, handwriting, I'm going to add in our spelling and vocabulary. And then I'm going to add in our notebooks. These are the guys' notebooks, and I have their names on them in the corner here. And I will just drop them here. And so these fit, but this one is a little wider, so I don't think it's going to fit. But I do have room back here, so I'm just going to drop it there. And so now all of my books are in, my teacher's manuals are in these file folders on top. And this is one of the large carts. This is from Michael's. So I am down on the floor now. I've pulled all the other manipulatives and spelling cards and books that were on the table down here with me. And I'm just going to add them onto the cart now. Again, these are our spelling cards for our All About Spelling. You can get the box from the curriculum maker. They have them, but I just decided to use what I had and put all of my kids' spelling cards in the same box. So I encourage you to use what you have. So I'm going to add that in its little designated spot on the cart. And then I'm going to add in our math manipulatives. So for the next 3 weeks, these will be the things that we need to reach for. So I'll put our whiteboard back here. I'll add in each of them have an abacus. So I will add that in. And then these are all of the mesh bags full of our manipulatives. And we'll need our place value cards. And I like to have a bowl or some type of container to dump out the manipulatives in. It's just a little easier for the kids to grab things out. So this was just a little thrifted bowl I had. So that's going to live on the cart in this box too. You can just put them on the cart. They don't have to live in a separate box. But I had it and it fits. So I put it on there. And then here are all of the books that I will be reading aloud to them over the next 3 weeks for our lessons and our read alouds, and their readers will live on the shelf too. So after they read, I will just ask them to drop them back here on the shelf so we know where they are for the next day. And I also added this little box to the shelf. This is just a box from IKEA, but I know that we'll need to be writing in the next 3 weeks. So I've added our dry erase and wet erase markers, some pens and highlighters that we will be using. And I shared recently that we use these little bugs as we're editing to get the bugs out of our writing. So that is what is living on the shelf. So I'm just going to put this little box on top of our spelling cards. We will be using, our writing utensils every day and our spelling cards only a few times a week. So I'm so glad that this cart is holding 3 weeks worth of our BookShark curriculum and even has room for a few other things that we'll be doing this year. And over on the shelf, I've already added the bins that we use to organize things for the year. So I've labeled them BookShark binder in boxes, Right Start Math manipulatives, and BookShark books. Now, if I need to grab out something quickly for science for the week, I can. It's right here behind me. I sit right here at our school table. But for the most part, this is all that we'll need, and I'm very excited about that. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope me sharing my thoughts on how I'm organizing our BookShark curriculum is helpful to you. If so, then please give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll be back with more videos soon. Don't forget to check out the BookShark link in the description below. We're really excited to dive into learning more about American history this year.